Welcome, true believers, to Secret Identity, the podcast where if the family feuds, it's a family of bats. And that's who you're joined by today, the Bat Fam, Boy Wonder, Brent Birnbaum, and the Caped Crusader, Harrison herself. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having
Starting to get hot.
Thanks for having us.
It's starting to get. You haven't been on in a couple episodes. You were sick. Now you're back to being alive.
Yeah.
The people missed you.
Yeah.
The true believers missed you.
Yeah, that spider bite really fucked me up for quite some time.
Yeah, who knew radioactive spiders won't actually give you powers?
Did he ever think like, I have cancer?
Exactly.
He's like, what about my spider sense, Doc? He's like, that's your white blood cells attacking the rest of your
You
body.
got bit by a shit
My
spider.
eyesight's getting so much better. Go, no, you just have schizophrenia.
Your brain is making you think you do. You haven't climbed a wall. You've actually broken, entered into several government buildings.
It would be funny if like Peter was just rubbing himself up on walls and just climbing.
And he's a grown man being like,
Climbing.
I'm in high school. Like a Pee Wee Herman Parker. They're back in the movies this month, and they've been making bank, the Spider-Man movies. Even TASM 2, which I love.
What, they're back in the theaters?
Yeah. I saw
Really?
Dark Knight Rises a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I was like, I forgot this movie, makes no sense.
People don't understand. This is not a very good movie.
It's what happens when you are afraid of the studio taking over. And also, I don't think he wanted to do a third one. And how can you follow up such a great movie?
I think he did want to do a third one, but I think his intention was always to have the Joker in it. And so I think when Heath Ledger died, I think it totally threw everything through a loop.
I watched the video of the ending of that when he's talking, of Batman Begins, when he's talking to Katie Holmes.
Yeah.
So many people were shitting on Maggie Gyllenhaal and being like,
Yo.
this feels like a Rachel Bruce Wayne would fall in love with, not this facelift needing motherfucker. And I'm like, God damn, I thought Maggie Gyllenhaal was beautiful.
Also objectively a better actor than Katie Holmes.
I mean, better taste in men
100%. Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah, like Jake.
Yeah, you know. Our book today. Do you have any? Oh, you're holding a physical.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, we do
Get
physical media in this house.
Yeah, we go analog, baby.
I've got so much that I think I have what they call a hoarding problem.
I don't enjoy these iPads.
I don't enjoy it every single time I have to
too
enter the
bright.
password. Just look at my face and go, he's grumpy. It's him. Do we have any confirmed Jewish superheroes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kitty Pryde and Ben Grimm.
Ben, that's right.
Yeah, and it depends what I like. Moon Knight. I mean, he's Jewish. I don't know how.
Yeah,
super
he's George
he is.
Santos.
He's got
Jewish.
he's got super schizophrenia.
Yeah.
But, and Magneto's not really a hero, but he's definitely Jewish.
No, don't make me see. Xavier, I can't.
Yeah, they gotta. I feel like it's time to update Magneto.
Yeah.
Like, bad stuff has happened to the culture of the Jewish people since the Holocaust. You can update it for Magneto a little bit, because like, otherwise, if it's gonna take place in 2025, he would have to be what, 90?
Yeah, that's true. Like,
Right.
they can still do it on X-97 because that takes place
Yes.
in the 90s.
Yeah. We're talking about Batgirl Year One. There's Batman Year One, which was the first time we got Batman's origin, which he was created in 1939, and we didn't get his origin until 1987.
I think there must have been some pre-crisis origin.
Yeah.
But after post-crisis on it, post
Crisis,
on
the
Infinite,
story, you mean?
Yeah,
Not him
exactly.
losing his parents in an
Yeah,
alleyway.
yeah.
That's a bit of a crisis.
Yeah, he still inherited $1 billion.
Yeah, and so did Alfred.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Riddler made a side note. I thought Riddler made a great point about that.
All right, we're gonna transfer to the next topic. Brent's gonna. I've read the Joker was right. No, what was a good point
Well,
you
just
thought
when
of?
he's just like, Bruce Wayne is not a real orphan. He goes, he grew up like his parents. I mean, his parents died, but he got $1 billion. He got
That's true.
a butler that loves him. Like, I had to like live.
That's
in
true
this
from his
fucking-
perspective. I
Yeah,
can
from his
see that.
perspective, you cannot
Yeah.
like. I'm not saying Edward Nashton was right, but I'm saying I understand the point. he
No,
was making.
yeah,
Like,
and Bruce Wayne in that movie was all Batman, like,
Yeah.
and he was all. You could tell, like, he cut himself. Alfred always has a line where he's like, "That little boy died in the alley with his parents that day," and that's sort of what the Pattinson Batman was like.
Totally.
Like, he was just like totally removed and was able to seclude himself and go learn karate in the mountains because he had billions of dollars.
Exactly.
While Nashton had to play a dusty keyboard next to Andy Serkis. You know, like, it was a rough time for him. It'll roughen up anybody. Today we're talking about Batgirl Year One. It was written in 2003. I was
Yeah.
surprised by
Yeah,
how
exactly.
it's 21 years old. It delves into the origins and early days of Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. Barbara has always had a lot of different stories. Sometimes she's Jim's daughter, sometimes she's not. Sometimes in Batman Beyond, which is in the animated series universe, she becomes the commissioner. Sometimes she has a love interest with Bruce Wayne, which is disgusting
And problematic.
and
Yeah,
very
that's
problematic.
weird. That's
In
weird.
this, she has one with Robin, which is who she's supposed to be with.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He loved her through.
They're the
getting-
same age.
Yeah, they're the same age. That they added
Stay
that
in your
scene-
lane.
Yeah, I feel bad not even picking up on that. That when they added that scene in the Killing Joke movie, that they didn't have to.
Yeah.
And they handle this book does a great job at non-fridging, like we
Yeah.
always talk about. Like you don't ever want to have the intention of writing a strong female character. Just write a character, and that's what they did with her.
Passes the Bechdel test.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
It and by they I mean Warren, Scott Beatty, and Chuck Dixon, and it was illustrated by Marcos Martin and Alvaro Lopez. And it is the art reminded me of like a PS2 game, but also modern at the same time. It was very weird.
And also kind of calls back to the animated series. I
Yeah.
feel like she kind of looks like how she did in the new Batman Adventures.
Yeah, and I was watching that two-parter of her introduction, and some of it, all of it's campy, to be honest with you. That whole episode, like she somehow gets his costume, and then Robin's chasing her, and he grabs the back of the cowl, and it rips out, and that's when the red hair becomes a part of the costume.
Girl?
And then they're drowning at one point, and she just grappling hooks them up. Like, there's so much from it. And then Batman is like, okay, I guess you could be part of the team now. And this they did. I thought how they handled it was
great.
perfect. Like, it was a great intro, and it was a great. I feel like people don't know about Batgirl because there's Batgirl, there's Batwoman.
Yeah.
There's
I didn't really know before I met
This is
you
if you don't know
guys.
anything about Batgirl, this is a great first story.
It was easy to read.
It's about Barbara Gordon,
Ages 5 and up.
who is 5 and up. Yeah, and we're all 4. This is about Barbara, who in this she's the daughter of Police Commissioner James Gordon, who I think is a captain at this point. I don't
Yes,
think
he's
commissioner
not
yet.
quite commissioner yet.
Yeah, and she is trying to make her mark independently from her dad's shadow. She wants to be a cop, and
He's like, you're not even tall enough
Yeah,
to be
you're
a
not
cop."
tall enough to be a cop.
what the fuck
You got
is
A's
that?
in high school. You can't be a cop. Who do you think you are? You gotta
be
get a C- at least.
5'2" and under.
You know, I'm just doing this for your own good, Barbara.
That is gonna be Jim Gordon this whole podcast. Just so you know, we're bringing Stewart back.
Stewart's back,
Yeah.
baby. Babs, I care deeply about you. That's why I don't want to put you in harm's way.
He hates masks in this, and there was a scene where he was like, I have to go out every day as a police officer, and what reward do I get? And I'm like, qualified immunity. That's what you get, buddy. She's trying to make it as a cop, and when she's rejected because of her gender and height, and her debut as Batgirl is accidental at a weird Illuminati party. In a kidnapping attempt
Pre-Court of Owls, though.
Pre-Court of Owls, yeah. We have the Killer Moth, who who's the other one?
Firefly.
Who reminds me of Beavis.
Dude, I honestly, Killer Moth,
It's like Hannibal Lecter and Beavis.
Killer Moth is like really silly in this. Like he's all like.
Oh yeah, he's the one who reminds
He's
me of
like
Beavis.
Beavis,
Yes, yeah. He's so dumb.
He's so dumb, and I remember him from Teen Titans, and he was a very different character in Teen Titans.
He was scarier in the
was-
Lego Batman game.
Yeah, he was like this scary character, but he had like a daughter that he wanted. He wanted like Dick Grayson to go out with.
The scene where he goes to the mob and goes, I got an idea that's going to make me money. It's going to help you guys out. A moth lamp. It'll take out superheroes. And they literally throw him out and show up to his house the next day being like, you owe us $500,000, buddy. It kind of pisses Batgirl off that that's her first hero. She also, what I really love is takes her own jiu-jitsu classes. So she knows how to fight. She doesn't have to rely on Batman for it. She faces a bunch of different adversaries.
Firefly's scary in this.
Firefly is scary, and so is
Dude,
revamped
yeah.
Killer Moth.
That would have been great in the Batgirl movie where Brendan Fraser was playing Firefly. If like when he came on the screen and we just heard, "You would not believe your eyes."
It's coming. And when they decide to put out the Batwoman movie, we're gonna predict it somehow. We're gonna sing "Umbrella" on a podcast episode, and that's gonna be the song that they use at the end of the trailer, like Deadpool and Wolverine. Because we know what we're talking about. We got our shit together. It's sexist, like what we talked about with Annie. Like they immediately start calling her a bitch. They never called any of the Titans that. She's fighting against that. She's constantly reflecting on her own growth, and she is a woman who understands her, or is underestimated by her peers. What do you think about Batgirl, Slater? I'll turn it to you first. What's your impressions on Batgirl? Because I read this as she became my favorite member of the Bat family. Used to be Dick, now it's Barbara and Batgirl.
Yeah.
She's my favorite.
Yeah, drop the dick, go for the babes. She's great. I feel like every female fucking superhero, villain, whatever it is, always starts from the fucking bottom. But they always come out on top and they kick ass. So like that's why I was like, oh fuck yeah. I like it's a hero like fucking journey.
People get sick of hearing the Batman year origin story just because like how many times can we watch his parents die? We don't really get to see her origin that much. You know?
Batman, I feel like all the guy heroes like start like they're badass and then you find out their trauma as they're like in the in between. Whereas like all the chicks are
you're
like
immediately getting punched down.
Yeah, and they're like I'll prove you
the first
wrong.
chapter she gets yelled at by her dad.
Yeah,
she does the
that was,
jiu-jitsu
like-
move, which is cool.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like
yeah.
every single, she doesn't really win until the end.
Yeah.
Which interesting thing I wanted to point out was she kept talking about the Oracle Cassandra.
Yeah,
and
that
I
was like
remember
a full circle.
reading about her when I was in 6th grade because I went through a Greek mythology phase, and the way Batman looks up to Zorro, and that's his sort of dude. I wanted to talk about who Cassandra was because you could see that as being.
Is she the one from the Iliad, like with Troy?
Ironically enough, no, we were together for a little bit in the 70s. She had a fertile crescent, if you know what I mean. I messed up that whole Batamia. She was Cassandra was a figure from Greek mythology featured in the epic tale surrounding the Trojan Condom War. She was a princess of Troy, Hala, daughter of King Priam. And she was granted the power of prophecy. She could see things before they happen.
Like an oracle.
She also knew music, so she had a SoundCloud. She could heal and more. And the broader narrative of the Trojan War. For example, she told them that the Trojan horse was a trap, and they didn't listen. And
she told them it's a what?
It's a trap.
I would hate to have that power or gift too, because like imagine knowing and then trying to tell people and they don't listen, and you're just always like, I was.
And you can't tell them I told you.
Right?
So
Yeah, exactly.
Captain Hindsight.
Yeah.
2020.
2020.
So
Like that would suck.
I don't think Barbara possesses any of these qualities. In many ways, I think she's sort of the opposite of Cassandra the Oracle, even though ironically
There's a lot of allusions to Killing Joke in this.
there are so many.
Like
the end, I had my breath.
I know.
I was like, oh my god.
Because I didn't even pick up on that when Dick says to her, he's like, you see this clown? You run.
Yeah. I got chills when he said it. And that's Dick, not even Jason. Like, this is still, you have to consider early crime fighting days because I had the picture of the Joker with the red hood behind him. So that means Batman finally pieced together he created him. I want to say she reminded me a lot of you. She had the attitude of, all right, you're not going to do it? Watch me do it by myself.
Yeah, me and my jujitsu skills.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with me.
Jiu-jitsu. It was always her. Gordon not knowing she was Batgirl was always like Lois Lane and Superman to me. And this book does the perfect thing, which like Batman even does at times with Alfred. Alicia Silverstone played Batgirl in that movie, right?
Yeah, but she wasn't Barbara Gordon.
Who was she?
She was like Alfred's niece.
Why?
Yeah, what?
Joel Schumacher. I mean,
You see, the thing is those movies were not made like the Nolan movies, where it was a lore thing. It was made to sell McDonald's meals.
Yeah, and like I think he claimed it was an homage to the Adam West '60s show, but they just came out terrible.
Was she? What was she in that show?
I think in that show it was Barbara Gordon.
It was Barbara. Yeah. If you are interested in Batgirl, or you don't know anything about her, when you read this book, you will be. This is a very fast read because of how interesting it is. It's 9 issues. If you get a chance to get the graphic novel, I would say get the hard copy. Issue 1, Shadows of the Bat. Barbara Gordon, frustrated by the lack of respect from her father and Batman, creates the Batgirl costume for a police ball. Then what happens when she gets the police ball, Brenty boy? Who does she run into?
She runs into a character named Killer Moth.
Mid-fight, where we see her fighting Killer Moth, and
Yes.
she's narrating. I'm guessing we're seeing excerpts from her journal.
Yeah, because Barbara Gordon at this point had wanted to join the police force, but Jim Gordon, being the protective dad that he is, says
that's really why I won't let her do it.
You can't do it. If anything happened to you, I couldn't live with myself.
Part of that, and it's also Jim knows that every cop in Gotham is corrupt,
Yeah.
and Barbara's probably going to get shot because she's his daughter, and she's not going to go along with that.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, yeah. I just finished Better Call Saul.
That finished all. I love Gordon in this. This is a great Gordon study. This book is all about. This is a character-driven story. Barbara obviously being the center of it, but everybody's character is. You immediately know who they are based on who they're interacting with. Like we know Gordon wants to protect Barbara from the police force because he won't let her on, even though. Next panel, she goes. He's like a week away from being commissioner. Yeah. We know her relationship with people outside of her life. Like when that guy is like, Miss Gordon, would you like me to alphabetize the philosophy section? And she's like, just ask me out already if you want to fuck me. And then he runs away. And like, so we see that she's kind of isolated and in a headspace to do something drastic. But then I like that we see her in the jiu-jitsu class where she psychs the guy out, where he's like, what are you, a woman? Yeah, I knew you couldn't fight back. And she hits him with the sableza over the shoulder. It's such a good scene.
That's an absolute badass.
She knows jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, like Giselle.
Yeah. I tweeted that thing where I said, if I was Superman, I would fight crime butt-ass naked. Who's going to stop me? And somebody quote tweeted it, Dr. Manhattan.
That was.
And then somebody was like, what, you would want children to watch? And I was like, kids are watching Coco Melon, not Superman fight crime. Ow. She has a plan to break into the Justice Society of America's office.
Yes.
What a bold. You've been to D.C. You've walked around the Embassy Rose. That's kind of what the JSA's headquarters is like. She's able to break in. And what's her goal of breaking in?
She wants to win over Black Canary because she idolizes Black. Like, she doesn't care about Batman. Her wearing this costume is an FU to Gordon.
Yeah, it's like you date a white girl dating a black guy to piss off her dad.
Exactly. The person she really wants to be partners with is Black Canary.
Is she not part of the JSA at this point?
Canary?
Yeah.
She is. So the JSA is like...
They're like half-ass Justice League.
Yeah, they're like the B-list JLA.
Yeah.
We have Black Canary, Green Arrow,
Wildcat.
Dr. Fate, like Wildcat.
Dr. Fate, like most... I'm sure you didn't even know his name was Wildcat. You were like, oh, it's Batman when he first appeared. Right?
Yeah.
Because like there's no difference.
It's literally just Batman on the Fairly Odd Parents. It's Catman.
Yes.
Oh,
Adam
nice.
TV's Adam West. Where?
Perfect.
The JSA.
She breaks into the JSA with like no security.
Fairies!
Fairy Justice Society. She narrates how she's able to trip every security system they have while nobody at the JSA is home, and does it all to leave a letter.
Yeah.
The JSA reminds me of like the FDA. You know, it's kind of serious, but not really.
Yeah.
And Pierce Brosnan had a hamster in his ass.
It's just a guideline.
Yeah, it ends with her being like, Black Canary, I need your help, and then her getting her shit rocked by the Moth. Brutal shot of her getting punched after she writes to Black Canary. And then we get into issue 2. I love the art in this. Sorry, I'm going to be really going through the art because it's just...
It's beautiful.
It's like right before comics became very digitized. Yeah. And you could tell somebody sat and drew it, and then you could tell somebody inked it. Wildcat tries to stop Barbara Gordon like I try to stop everybody who's like, I'm thinking about doing open mics. I'm like, you don't want no part of this, Dewey Cox. And that's basically what Wildcat tells Barbara.
You can't get addicted to it.
You can't get addicted to it. And
Richard.
She leaves Wildcat, and then he's with Dr. Fate, and Wildcat asks Dr. Fate, what do you see in her future? And he goes, I see triumph and tragedy. And Wildcat goes, yeah, well, I could have told you that. Meaning she's not going to stop. She's going to continue to be a hero because that's what every hero does. Every hero's been told by someone not to be a hero. In the words of Dave Chappelle, heroes die uncomfortable deaths. Ow! But she kicks ass in every frame. It goes from Dr. Fate having that Obi-Wan and Yoda thing. Yeah. That boy is our last hope. No, there is another. Where he's like, so what do you see in her future, Dr. Green Eyes? And she's like, triumph and tragedy. I could have told you that. Boom! Kicking motherfuckers in the face. Killer Moth has got to be pissed that his adversary is a woman who made her costume from supplies from Michael's Arts and Crafts store.
Yeah,
and I love that they included scenes of her sewing it together, and even her being like, do all superheroes have to stitch their own costumes?
She's just at Hobby Lobby like, do I get a superhero discount?
And how do I not raise suspicion? Do I pay cash?
Yeah, it's like someone trying to murder someone and they freaking buy duct tape and rope and everything.
Well,
like,
3 different Walmarts.
This is a big mission for Killer Moth, too, because he wants to show the criminal underworld that he is legit and he can kidnap Bruce Wayne.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he fails miserably
He does.
at it.
But he escapes.
He escapes, but he still got beat up by a girl. And Gordon's worried about Barbara not having a social life and invites her to a costume party.
Yeah.
And
Well, this is where that happens. Yeah.
yeah. And then where she stitches up the thing. And he's like, should I be a cowboy or should I be Aladdin or whatever a sultan? Cops can be these two things, right? And so she shows up to the costume party in her Batgirl costume, and Gordon is kind of oblivious to it. And it's at this party where Bruce Wayne is also there in costume as a condom. I'm not really sure what he is. A clown of some sort, which is sort of fucked up if you think about the things he's done to the Joker.
yeah.
Yeah, he's like if the Joker and the Riddler had a shitty opener. Cut to Robin at home with Alfred.
Yes.
He watches 3 shows: Seinfeld, Simpsons, and the Shazam show from the 1970s.
Shazam!
Which makes me wonder, Shazam is an in-person character.
Just show me.
Is it biographical or was it like a show they made like about a character that's still, it was just as campy?
Yeah, that's
because like
true.
it goes, Newman, dog,
I know, it's like
Shazam!
it's like Captain America watching Star Wars with
Yeah,
the DFC.
yeah,
It's like
right?
what happens when Windu comes on the
Yeah, and he's
screen.
like, hey, that guy should be sitting in the back of the council. And as he's flipping through the channels, he sees news coverage of this thing going on at the ballroom. And he's like, oh, I got to go help. And Alfred's writing in a journal the whole time. Alfred's outside right now speaking
Yeah,
in
he's,
Carson. Is he
he's
coming
laying on
through?
the horn.
This is the beauty of recording a podcast in Gotham City.
Yeah.
Robin gets on the bat cycle. Barbara goes to try to help. She's fighting Killer Moth. I saved this panel because I love... He throws his helmet at her and she just deflects it. Like, at that point, go home, dog. You don't have a cool name. You don't got no swagger.
Who throws a shoe?
He keeps screaming, the Killer Moth is chained. The Killer Moth is like the guy who shot Ronald Reagan. Like, just lock him up. You're mentally ill. In issue 3, we get her... Nothing big really happens at the end of 2. Decide the fact that Moth gets away, and then we find out Batman and Robin have been watching her the whole time. And they're like, who is she? And Batman goes, 2 words, copyright infringement. Cover to issue 3, I love. Batman and Robin standing on the rooftop like that with her luring right in the distance. Like, that kind of shows their hierarchy. And also, no apparatus on this child. And this is the only book where I've ever heard Gordon give him shit for having a Robin, where he's like, well, you upset to see me, Commissioner? He's like, I would rather see you be doing homework. And I was like, wow, he's never stood up to him before. Well, issue 2 ends with him going, who are you supposed to be? And then it picks up again. I asked you a question. What are you supposed to be? And she's like, and then Robin, it looks like he's going in to kiss her. And then he goes, I can fight her, Batman. And he's like, we have to stop jumping to that. And he's like, I can take her. And then she jujitsus him into the ground, and he's wearing those weird shorts. She body slams him into the ground. A moment he'll remember for the rest of his life. Probably the day he developed a pegging fetish. And Batman goes, this ain't no game. Bitch, you think this is a game? And he goes into one of my favorite aspects of the character, which is what the symbol of Batman means. And at the end of the book, it explains to you, in this case, what it means. In The Dark Knight, I always loved that part where he was like, meant to be a symbol that inspired hope. And at the end, she learns what the symbol is. And he doesn't want her running about doing it, but immediately figures out she's Barbara Gordon, like in 2 seconds. And then Moth, is that the dude in the chopper who tries taking him out?
Well, because Moth is like, he's like a dumber, evil version of Bruce. He's a millionaire who's using his millions to like hire a gang.
Yeah, he's like Drake. That's when he calls her Batgirl. That's why that's a pivotal moment. He goes, classic goon line of test and fate. What a day. I get to kill Batman, Robin, and the Batgirl on the same night. My rep is made, boys. Made. And then she goes, and that was it. The damn, forever Batgirl. I picture her to be like, what's her name from Sex and the City in her little panels.
Oh, Carrie?
Carrie, yeah. And I love this shot.
Why did I get that first?
Yeah,
no, I got it, but I'm on like brain delay today.
Yeah, no, she dips out. I love this shot of them uncoordinated. Like Robin's just all ass. He's an acrobat, so he probably is doing something. Batman's just like, I'm gonna make sure I don't turn into Harvey Dent. And Batgirl's seemingly going toward the fire.
Robin looks like...
Thank God it was Richard here, not Tim.
Yeah.
Tim would have gotten scorched.
Or Jason. Yeah, and she even complained. She's like, I would have preferred Batwoman. But as James Brown said, it's a man's world. And Robin's got the hots for her.
He does.
They leave, and he goes, the girl disappeared. We'll be seeing her again. And he goes,
don't worry.
Oh, geez, Rick, I hope so. And then she's like, Boy Wonder has a crush on me. That she gets a flashback to him flirting with her on the rooftop with Gordon. And Jim Gordon doesn't like that. What's he say?
This is inappropriate. You shouldn't even be out here. You should be studying. And oh, my God.
Back in my day, we would be doing an egg cream instead of a cream pie.
Back in my day, a dame would never show her gams, and a man would certainly never show his gams. Put some pants on, Robin.
Gams.
It's cold out.
It's February 23rd. He baby reindeers her. And then we'll get to that later, but like what he does when they're on the bikes later, I'm just like, damn, dog, you got game like that at 17? Is that when they gas her? They Cosby her at the end?
I think she just gets away in this one.
She gets away and gets back home and runs into that cop who's like,
Bard.
Do you want to date Bard? Yeah. And then, this is when he goes to the mob and he's like, $1 billion idea. You guys have paid off cops, lawyers, attorneys, but what about superheroes? Solution, moth lamp. And they're like, why does everything got to have a thing now? Bat lamp, moth lamp. Just make it a lamp. How's it going to stop it? I'm going to shine it really bright in their faces and then think of something. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. You owe us money now. What happens in the end of 3?
So Killer Moth gets his ass kicked when he tries to offer production money because they're like, you just got your shit wrecked. Barbara's like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing this. So she gets all the supplies she needs. She gets her costume. She gets a rope. She gets a taser.
I'm gonna be Batgirl. I'm gonna go to Michael's and get a bodysuit with some stitching and a sewing machine. And I'm gonna do it all to tell my dad, fuck you, I'm my own person.
So she's getting ready, and she's on top of the of a gargoyle in Gotham City.
Yeah, she's like training.
Yeah, exactly. She's gonna make her first leap. She's like, this is probably a bad idea, and Batman and Robin are watching.
Yeah, it's a great shot. That picture of them. Where what does he say? What does Batman say?
Well, there's where she's changing, and Richard is looking at her, and Bat's like, look away. We're not voyeurs.
We're not voyeurs. Look away.
She's
like,
changing.
But I'm 16. And you still never really helped me get over the whole parents died in front of me thing. It took me. So
let me watch this girl change.
A lot of unprocessed trauma.
Yeah, let me look at a side titty.
Yeah, he had to join the Teen Titans, bang the first alien chick he met, and then
live with a goth girl and couldn't bang her for a few years.
Let me get a little bat boob.
Let me get a little bat titty. I want all my bat nipple source to come from George Clooney because she's lost every single time. I mean, she's won a lot of battles, but like for example, when she was in that store and was fighting off the criminals, the only reason she won was because she'd been to that store before and she knew where the stuff.
She knew where the exits were.
She missed one of the gunners. She got him, but like by a lucky shot. Yeah. She threw like a bag of tomatoes or something at him. You know, like this is
distraction tomato.
Yeah, distraction tomato. It's Batman has those in his belt. They're called the Bat Distraction Tomato. She just has regular tomatoes.
So issue 4, she's like flying through the air. She's got a rope. The rope gets cut, and she's like, "Oh shit, someone cut it." Robin catches her, and she's like, "Someone cut my rope." He's like, "Yeah, Batman did it." So she punches Robin. She's like, "Oh wait, that was the one guy that was gonna save me." Yeah. So then and then Batman saves them, and she's just like. And Batman's like, I didn't just cut the rope because I'm crazy.
Yeah, you were going to die. Your body was going to go into shock.
Yeah.
You weren't going to make that. And he was totally unimpressed with her. And she did not have the will of the warrior, but she persisted.
Yeah, there was like a reason he was doing it. He goes, you didn't have the proper rope. It's like, I'm not just doing this for no. It's like how you beat up homeless people.
I'm doing it to do that.
Yeah. Like when you do it, like you don't do it because you're crazy. You like the power dynamic.
Yeah, exactly. And because you're crazy.
I want to
you have to mention
myself.
the
I I want to know. I'm better.
In Cave Dwellers, they have. Is that where they show her the training room?
Yeah.
That's kind of because like Batman leaves and leaves her with Richard Grayson, and he's like, "Oh yeah, watch! You like this super cool cave? Watch how dangerous I can make it." And then like he's like, "Real live bullets."
Turn off the lights.
Yeah, like all your world life here. Turn off the lights. Activate lethal mode just to make it cool. I watch a lot of Andrew Tate videos. Bruce isn't home a lot, and they have their little bond moment over that. But
that is how this issue ends because Batman asks her like, "Why?" Yeah,
right,
and she can't answer.
Yeah, and he says no, turn away, and then she goes, "Are you okay? Fine, you're gonna turn me away because I couldn't give you some 50-word essay about why I want to fight crime. But to be honest with you." Being the daughter of a police officer, I see the future of this city, and I know it's horrible, and I'm going to do my part in fighting it, whether or not you take me to court for stealing your likeness. And then Batman just sort of at that point not on her radar anymore. It's similar to the Wildcat and Dr. Fate scene where they're like, you're going to do it anyway. That's the same thing I would have done. And when Robin is hooking her up, she like destroys like 4 bat cycles.
Yeah. Because like Robin's like, I gotta crush it because they know that she's Barbara Gordon.
Yeah,
they spray her. They give her like
which was weird.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
They knocked her out immediately and put her in a cave. Yeah. That's how that issue starts. And they're like, calm down. You're acting irrational.
Why are you so dramatic?
Is it that time of the month
again?
They
sprayed her twice.
I was just gonna say she's on her period.
2 times they sprayed her.
They're like, what is this?
I can't take this anymore. God damn it.
I'm going to Febreze your ass.
You're beating up criminals. You're irrational. You're doing the same thing.
Stop eating Dove chocolate.
It's different when we do it.
It's different when we do it. We're men. We've had presidents.
We are presidents.
We've set precedents.
You had presidents.
You were a president.
Where
You have a library trying to control your little narrative with books and pages
and
little words and throwing these tomatoes on top of Dominicans who are trying to buy their babies Huggies.
So this issue ends with Robin giving her the suitcase.
Yeah, and with a little cute note that says, from your big old dick. Issue 5.
Never
Folie
forget.
Doulée. Batgirl faces off with a villain who is a pyrotechnic. He's a Beavis. He's like, yeah, fire. I'm going to burn down Gotham. It's going to be crazy.
Pyrotechnic.
Scary
What's
in
his
this,
name?
though. We meet
Pyromaniac.
Firefly.
Firefly, yeah.
Garfield Lynn's like...
You're gonna burn down a water tower. I'm cool. That's a lot of fun. Settle down there, Firefly. We have a mission to do. Yeah, it's fire! Fire! The voice is only fire!
More!
Settle down there, Firefly. So what's happening there when they're in this confrontation?
Yeah, so Killer Moth is down on his luck. No one's taking him seriously. And we meet... he's not Firefly yet, but we meet the guy who will become Firefly, Garfield Lynn's, and he's a special effects artist on a film shoot.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
This
is
a
the
crazy
sickest
scene.
part.
Yeah, this was intense. This was violent.
Mm-hmm. Like his assistant's like, "Hey, I feel like there's too many explosives here." He's like, "Who's the boss?"
When they're on the film set, do those mob guys just show up and go, "She's one of the witnesses," and do that to her, or the pirate? That's the scene.
It's the scene. Yeah, the scene. That's just part of the movie.
Yeah,
and it's just part of it. There's supposed to be an explosion.
And why did they whack her?
So that was just part of the movie. So it was all part of the movie they were filming, like the mob guys shooting at her. They were all actors,
right?
So and it was just
these were all paid actors.
Yeah, paid actors, and it was supposed to have just a kind of smaller explosion. But he sets off Garfield Lynn sets off a crazy huge explosion.
I was confused by that and what was real and what wasn't.
Yeah,
so.
they were filming a movie, and then because he sets off the explosion, the actress is burned to a crisp.
Yeah,
and the director's like,
didn't he smile?
Yeah, he's smiling, and the director's like, her career's over. Like
casting call.
Yeah, seriously, she's disfigured. We have to cancel the movie. And Garfield goes, "What are you gonna do with the footage?" And he's like, "You want the footage?"
Yeah.
Sick man.
That I feel like they let Alan Moore step in for a couple of lines in that chapter because it is she learned a lot about the criminal underworld and how much they'll pay for certain tapes. And it's gross.
And that's when he meets Killer Moth because Killer Moth is complaining at the bar.
Yeah, I like it better when you explain.
But they're at the bar. Killer Moth is down on his luck, and he's like, "Man,"
telling everybody's Killer Moth too.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. He doesn't understand the
purpose of a secret identity.
I was gonna say, can you do that in the Norm voice?
Secret identity. You know, I'm hiding from the police. They're looking for a guy named Killer Moth. Yeah. So when I order a drink, I said put on the tab of Killer Moth. That's a MOTH moth. If you need help finding it, I have a moth lamp. It's very bright. Just so you know.
It's really loud in here. I don't know if you heard me.
I don't know if you know, moths aren't attracted to the light. It's the darkest point behind the light, the asshole.
Thank you for indulging.
If I'm getting Jimmy Stewart, you're getting Norm. I don't even think my Norm is good. I just do
love
it for
your Norm.
you. I listen to you do Rocky every time in Spokane, and they laugh every time. And I was like,
So good.
it was like watching Eddie Murphy.
You know, there's still time.
I could slide it right in there, Stallone. It's not about how you get hit. It's about how many times you can hit it without busting.
You know, this penis is pretty cool.
I got Rocky 2 balls. Is there like a... And on the next episode, cliffhanger at the end is issue 5.
So this is the debut of Firefly. He joins a partnership with Killer Moth. They want to intimidate that lead mobster. I forgot what his name is.
His name is Veal Parmesan.
We'll call him Veal Parmesan. Gene!
Gene Parmesan! Yeah, Veal Parmesan, they want to get it back at him because he's charging them protection money, and they didn't... he was like Simon Cowell 2's Killer Moth idea.
Yeah.
He was like, absolutely horrible. Get out of my system.
Too much.
You owe us money now because I'm never getting this time back in my life.
And they burn his house.
They burn his
Burning
whole
down
house
the house.
Yeah. I want to get back at Veal. Killer Moth is gone. Issue 6
This ain't
is
no disco.
Barbara Gordon is a cape. She did it to piss off her father who got shot in the neck with a dart. Issue 6. Batgirl interrupted. Barbara juggles between being a student, librarian, lesbian, and vigilante. Not a lesbian, I made that up. Her professional and personal career are at that point. You got to decide. You have one or the other. And she
picked girls.
It was a big life choice for her. But she was like, I'm ordering the clams. Does anything of great importance end in issue 6?
Yeah, issue 6 is the one where Gordon is kidnapped, and Black Canary and Barbara are both on the case.
Yeah, Black Canary just shows up. She's like that J-Lo song. I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always on time. Bitch, I needed you when I called. I was in an emergency.
You're my emergency contact.
And you are my emergency Black Canary. You are sometimes here and sometimes now. We have killed 3 motorcycles. I love reminiscing about death and the styles of Cat Williams. Those other guys are chasing after her, dressed as Moth.
Yeah, Gordon gets kidnapped by Killer
Squid
Moth and
Billies.
Firefly, but it's not actually them. It's the Squid Billies.
Yeah. Like, goddamn, I can't shoot and drive at the same time, boy.
These darn hillbillies.
Damn, I'm gonna talk about, man, you got goddamn 2 girls on a motorcycle, man. I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life, man.
2 girls, 1 bike.
2 girls, 1 bike,
And
man.
the other 2 are like the Moonanites. They're stealing our identity.
They're stealing our identities. I must
Look
take
at
them
these
to
nerds.
court. It has to be small claims court where all I need to do is have a preponderance of evidence instead of proving them innocent or guilty. And so in issue 7, she is going after her daddy who's kidnapped.
Yes. Her and Canary get to the base with the kidnappers, but then the real Killer Moth and Firefly show up, and that's how that
And they have a
ends.
dance off.
They do.
Yep.
In 7, Firefly is just like, man, fuck these imposters. He burns both the fake Firefly and the fake Killer Moth to a crisp. And Killer Moth is like, dude, what?
Why? Yeah, he immediately flips out. He's like,
Why me?
dude, why did you? Oh, jeez, man. Like, oh my God, I knew arson. Now this is gonna be on my soul forever. I'm gonna think, oh, he could have grown old, but instead I turned him into an apple pie. I baked his ass.
I left him in the oven
Killer
too
Moth does
long.
not have a mission in this life. That's what he's lacking.
Because he's Killer Moth.
That's the thing, you
Like,
know?
he just fucking hates everything.
Yeah, I like that
including
the story
himself.
continuously points out how cartoonish these guys' names are.
Yeah, like, it's got a moth. Moths suck.
They're scary though.
They are
Up
scary.
close. I wouldn't like. up close. Them
What,
white
you
powdery
fucking making out
devils.
with
They're
moths?
like powdered donuts that have wings that want to do stuff to your mouth.
But yeah, this one was the he gets burned to he burns them to a crisp. Killer Moth's like, what? They end up escaping. That guy, Officer Bard, got shot in the kneecaps, so he I don't think he's crippled, but he can't be a police officer anymore.
Yeah, no. You
And he's
can't.
like, thank God I got hurt in the line of duty. I got a pension. I'm going to open up a base and tackle shop and be so racist.
He's like, yeah.
And there's not a fucking thing they can do about it.
And I'm moving down south. Fuck it.
I'm moving south.
I don't like the cold.
I could finally fly that damn flag, and I have to tell them about my history.
Not my Gotham City.
Yeah, Jason, we think you may have suffered severe brain damage.
You might have also had a concussion.
Yeah, you tried masturbating in front of a vending machine earlier. We definitely, if you're shooting at that, you are going to be, we can't trust you with your service.
Don't worry, I drink better when I drive.
I drink better when I drive, baby. How you
Everything
doing, Papa
is
Gordon?
fine, Ossifer.
Come on over and move Bar's big toe, mama. How y'all doing, baby? Continually fucked up. Doesn't he get fucked up again at the show?
Yeah. Basically, 7 just ends with Barbara's like, all right, it's not working out with Black Canary. Maybe I'll go out with Robin again.
Yeah, because she's like, I've known her for 4 hours, and she saved my life once an hour every hour. This is not good. I think she likes Robin because he is obviously very skilled and very trained, and not
He's
just
like
as
a straight twink.
Yes, yeah, and you could say that because you are one.
Yes.
But he's trained as
I
a
always
martial
thought I was a
artist.
Jewish king.
And he's a acrobat too, so like I think she respects his level of gangsta on top of him understanding all the gadgets, and the bond that they sort of share immediately is he even says like, I could tell you my dad studied with a bunch of Tibetan ninjas and you wouldn't believe me, so what's it matter what my backstory is? And they're just like, all right, let's go stop this guy who is wreaking havoc. And then he takes her on a really long journey to go take down a man who's only made an appearance in the animated series, and Will Diamond got us a figure, the Condiment King. Condiment King or man? Condiment King.
Condiment King, yeah.
Who his power is exactly what you think it is. He just
Mustard.
staining shirts.
I'm going to spread my mustard seed.
Yeah, he's just money shotting all over everyone. And Batgirl and Robin stop her, and she's like, you brought me out here all the way for this? And he actually makes a fair point. He's like, listen, would you take a guy named the Penguin seriously?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Let's go see if the Condiment King doesn't have a bomb strapped to his chest on top of all the white sauce he's been.
And
just
she goes, you take this too seriously. And he goes, maybe you need to take this more seriously. And he leans in.
And he kisses her while they're on motorcycles. That's game.
Batman's watching the whole thing. He's like,
the boy wonders.
Nice.
My man. And she's like not totally turned off by it.
Yeah.
But she like Padmes it. She's like, call me in 4 years.
Yeah.
That's a red light.
And that's literally. And that is the end of that chapter, right? The kiss and then her process.
Yeah, well, they fight that guy Blockbuster, who has the power to make video stores go out of business.
Yes, and turn them in the fronts for
He's cousins with
operations.
Hollywood Video.
Yes, who Batman threw into a vat of economic downfall 10 years prior.
Yep.
Yeah, because it ends with Barbara beats him on her own. She beats Blockbuster. Batman's been watching the whole time, so you realize Robin isn't just hooking Barbara up with stuff. Batman's been encouraging it, but Gordon sees red hair at the scene, and he realizes Batgirl is Barbara.
Yeah, and Arkham Knight did a really good job at him completely doing a 180 on Batman when he got shot and realized that he knew the whole time that she was Oracle. And it was Mike Ehrmantraut who did the voice for Gordon. We found out Bruce knew that Barbara was his daughter, and he was like, how could you let me do this all these years? It's your fault she's missing, Walter. And in issue 9, Turning Points, the final issue of Batgirl, we see her fully established and as a respected hero.
So issue 9.
Yes, sir.
So Firefly and Killer Moth are on the move. They're in a helicopter. They are burning. They're burning the town to the ground. And Batman and Robin don't have a way to take them out without using lethal force. So they leave it to Batgirl, and she ends up
She goes, this way we won't be blamed.
Cue dirty work.
Blame it on the bitches. Woo! Don't blame it on the Batman. Don't blame it on the Robin. Don't blame it on the Alfred. Blame it on the Batgirl.
She uses the tether line that they gave her to tether the helicopter to a building, and they get tossed from it.
He missed.
Yeah.
And then Batman cuts that. He's like, hey, got you again.
I did it.
Haven't been on your side.
Get better at ropes, bitch.
What happens after that?
Yeah, so they're defeated using non-lethal force. They go to Arkham.
The last 5 pages are so powerful and they're so beautiful. And when I read them, and I've read this before, I had one of those goosebumps, couldn't breathe moments because I was like, oh, I'm in this book. Like, we relate to characters. I've never blown up the Death Star, but I know what it's like to live in a town and want to get out of it and be something greater. We relate to the smaller story.
Right.
The smaller story is more important to the bigger story. They've done an incredible job at knowing the small story here is Barbara trying to feel not validated as Batgirl, but just looked at as a person.
She wants agency.
And she wants agency. And when you find out, when Batman asks her what the reason why is, and she figures it out, she gets the full clarity. And that's what I think is so important about this book.
Yeah, because he takes her to the Batcave, and he goes, "This is..."
Doesn't knock her out this time.
Doesn't knock her out this time. Less problematic. And he goes, "This is your world," and she just sees Killer Moth and Firefly, and she beats them. He goes, "If you leave now, you'll only have to worry about these 2 clowns."
Yeah. Oh, my God, this is so great.
But then he goes, "This is my world.
If you don't walk away, this is your future." And she's surrounded by Mr. French Fries, Freeze for short, Poison Ivy, Cumface, the Riddler, what appears to be Solomon Grundy. I don't know who that dude with the tail is.
The tail, that's Copperhead.
Oh, right. I'm only used to seeing the Justice League Unlimited
You think that's
version.
Grundy? I think that's Two-Face.
Oh, yeah, because in the next panel, she punches him and he has 2 halves of a face.
Yeah, exactly.
Catwoman, yeah. He's like, you're going to scissor the shit out of her. And that Joker shot, man, is menacing.
You know why?
Because that's exactly the shot from The Killing Joke before he paralyzes her. You know that's our masturbation hand.
Nerdgasm!
That's what he does. But he's wearing a different outfit. He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Well, yeah,
outfit.
fashion, baby.
Dude,
You celebrating.
I knew you'd pick up on that.
You know, I'm picking up what you're putting down, dog. We ain't getting no pussy.
Oh, God.
But I've been reading this book.
Dude, my nipples are rock hard right now.
Oh man, I have. I would say some things if I didn't want this podcast to get monetized. Every shot of the Joker in this, like, I mean, she has the fights with Freeze and with Copperhead, and then Freeze shoots Clayface, and she fights Freeze and Poison Ivy. But the Joker looms large over her, and she says, "If this is my future, I'm not afraid of it." And he goes, "Alfred, stage lights." And she goes, "Alfred," because she's been calling him Jeeves the whole time.
Yeah.
Which
Ask
is
Jeeves.
hilarious. Yeah. And the first issue, she called him Siri, which is weird because it's 2003. And he goes, "Will you, do you swear to take an oath?" And she goes, "Anytime, anywhere."
And he goes, "In brightest day, in darkest night, no evil shall
take
escape
my sight."
For
The
those
Joker
who
will
worship
never be
evil's
punished
might.
for what he's done and can live a happy, long life, unlike those children who he blew up the hospital of.
And if I die before I wake.
If I die before I wake. He goes, "Take this oath." And he goes, "Come with me." And she goes, it all makes sense. The expensive toys, the time and devotion, the reason. He unmasks and he stands in front of the graves of his parents. And she knows now, because you mentioned earlier in the book, Batman's got to be rich to afford all this stuff because she couldn't afford, like, she had to buy all her own Batgirl shit. And the reason what Batman means, why he said she didn't deserve to wear that symbol, because she didn't understand it yet. It breaks down to these 3 core promises, which, Batman's a symbol meant to inspire people. He doesn't want to do this forever. He can't. I promise loyalty, I promise secrecy, and I promise courage. That's the symbol. That's what the symbol of hope is. If I had to put it into a definition, that's what he means, and why he doesn't like those guys dressed up in hockey pads, going, "That's not exactly what I meant. I wanted to inspire people," because they're not ready for that.
Yeah,
he had to put her through a vigorous routine and interview process to make sure she was ready to take that risk. And the 3 of them standing on that hill while he's explaining to her what the oath is,
so
is
good.
one of the most, because this is pre-Nightwing. This is like early start to the days, and then you see Gordon. He goes up to Gordon and he goes, "I'd like to introduce you to an associate, a new partner under my supervision." And he goes, "Oh, I've been waiting for you to come through, dog. I got a 12 gauge in one pocket and I got a dynamite stick in the other for what you did to my daughter. And then Batgirl drops down, and it's not Batgirl because they pulled a fast one on him. Because she comes up out of the elevator and goes, "Hi, Daddy, it's little old me. Want a piece of this pie?"
I was just in the bathroom.
I've been not creating an alibi this entire time, waiting for my cue like I'm in a sitcom set. You know, they know.
But how is that possible? You're just on the road.
Daddy, don't you know y'all two people can have the same color hair?
That's crazy. I'm so happy I'm fighting crime. Go back to the library.
And she ends it by saying, to connect it back to Cassandra, she goes, "Despite my great and abiding respect for oracles, I've decided to forgo predictions." This is the line that I love. I don't want to butcher it. And the last panel is her fighting Scarecrow, setting up a new series. She goes, "There is what could be, and there is the life I lead right now." And the final panel is Batman's emblem, Robin's emblem, not face. Hers is the only face, and it says
not the end.
And it's perfect. It's such a Taoist thing, and it's the life of a crime fighter, man. It's because she learned the most important lesson, which is the day you stop learning is the day you die.
And we, as the viewer, we know what's going to happen to her.
Right.
We know the fate that awaits Barbara.
Yeah.
But she's like, you know what? I don't care because this is what I meant to do.
Yeah.
And honestly, this was a deserves her flowers moment. You know, like Gail Simone is the only person I can think of that gets any credit for writing any Batgirl.
Yeah.
This is the perfect story, and she's not. It really doesn't rely on the. I mean, you could say she, you know, it relies on men in the Gordon sense, but like it's not. It's still independent. Like nothing she does it has to do with a guy. You know, like she's proving herself. And and the interesting thing is it's written by a man. And it's like calling you a female comic.
Yeah,
you know, like call me a comic.
Yeah.
Say I killed for 20 minutes and don't follow it up with, and I was surprised because you're a woman.
Yeah. Because then when you make it a thing, it's a thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be a thing.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's adding an unnecessary qualifier.
Yeah. It's a faux pas.
I think it's great. I think it's a really cool story.
It made you like women again, right?
Yeah. I'm getting there. I have a sister.
That's why he hates women.
I'm 50% women. No, it was. I thought it was a great book. I really like when. I feel like it's like a referendum on Alan Moore. Like
yes, that's a good point.
Killing Joke is a great book. It's a fantastic read, but the thing that happens to Barbara in it doesn't need to necessarily happen because the whole point of Killing Joke is Joker's plan is to drive Gordon insane to show one bad day can drive a person crazy, and he shoots and paralyzes Barbara in it,
and possibly SAs her.
Yeah, and like we talked about this in the Watchmen episode, where Alan Moore does have a bad track record of gratuitous and unnecessary SA in his stories.
And this shows you can have a silly character like the Moth still have high stakes that get transformed and turned into one thing that leads into another, and then you go, that's the perfect first villain for you. It's perfect first rogue. Like how Vulture was the first perfect one for Tom Holland Spider-Man. Like they were both still kind of getting their shit together. It's a really great point. I didn't think about that, man. I wish they would do more. I wish we got the Batwoman movie. I think they would kill with a Batgirl animated show right now. I would love a Batgirl show.
Totally.
I think you could
That'd
do one.
sick.
You could do a Birds of Prey show really well. You could have her and Huntress and Black Canary. You true believers, we're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. You can also get us on Twitter and Instagram.
Hey there, true believers. It's me, Stan the Man Lee. Gee whiz, wasn't that a spectacular video? If you like that and want more, try clicking one of the videos you see on the screen now. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more. And as always, true believers, Excelsior!